In a surprising move, the uber conservative pro-corporate Supreme Court decided to side with employees over employers. Now, this had to do with retirement accounts and the ability for employees to take legal action against their employers if the investment funds in the 401ks that are being offered, have some predatory behavior involved. So, a unanimous Supreme Court ruling Monday in Hughes versus Northwestern University ensures that Americans will still be able to sue employers and Wall Street banks that bleed dry their retirement accounts, a landmark precedent in protecting the $7.3 trillion Americans hold in 401k accounts. This is important in mitigating some of the damage that's done from switching over from pensions to 401ks. Because 401ks, as some of you might know, have various options, and if you pick the wrong funds to invest your money in, you might be dealing with fees that really drain your savings for your retirement. And I'll get to those details in just a second. The 8-0 ruling written by Sonia Sotomayor found that 401k plan participants could continue to take legal action against employers for including these high fee, high risk investments in their 401k lineup, even if they also include lower fee, lower risk options. Now, keep in mind that the financial industry has been salivating at the thought of being predatory in regard to your retirement savings, if you're lucky enough to have retirement savings in this country. Powerful private equity industry titans for years have been aiming to convince 401k plans to include their high fee, high risk offerings. Blackstone Group CEO Stephen Schwarzman has said accessing retirees' 401k accounts was, quote, one of our dreams. Of course, their dream is to rob you. It's what they do. It's their favorite thing to do. Now, I wanted to add a little more meat to this story to really, ensure that everyone really understands how serious this problem is and how important it is that the Supreme Court did rule in favor of the employees here. Now, it's incredibly complicated and difficult to suss out which fund to invest your money in for your retirement account. In fact, Frontline did a great hour-long piece on this that I highly recommend that you guys check out. It's available on YouTube. No, this is not a paid plug or anything like that. I'm just giving you guys some good advice if you want to learn more about this. The title is The Retirement Gamble by Frontline. I'm gonna show you a few pieces from that great video that they put together. And this first video kind of explains just how difficult the process is in determining where you invest your money in your 401k account. Let's watch.
About 60 million Americans have signed up for their company 401k plan.
These are your 401k election forms. As you can see, there are numerous options to choose from. And remember, this is your retirement, so make your selections carefully.
But most people remember their first 401k meeting as dumbfounding.
Any questions?
I had no idea. I was so confused. I came out of that meeting and I was like, oh my God. It was overwhelming for me, the knowledge that you had to have in order to invest.
The 401k is one of the only products that Americans buy that they don't know the price of it. It's also one of the products that Americans buy that they don't even know its quality. It's one of the products that Americans buy that they don't know its danger. And it's because the industry, the mutual fund industry, have been able to protect themselves against regulation that would expose the danger and price of their products.
So what's been happening is workers have been doing everything that they've been told to do, right? Be a good, responsible worker and ensure that you're putting aside a little bit of money every month into this retirement account. And the whole idea is that you will build this nest egg, and eventually when you retire, you can live off that nest egg. We are dealing with a crisis in the country when it comes to retirement, because retirees do not have enough money to retire on. For instance, as the Daily Poster reports, currently the median 401k balance for Americans 65 and older is just $64,000, $64,548. The amount could be as much as 40% higher if it wasn't for fees paid to Wall Street. And if you don't believe me, Check out this next clip, which explains just how terrible those fees are and the great lengths that the funds go to ensure that you have no idea what's going on.
I have a 401k, I save in it. It hasn't seemed to go up. It's awful. I kept checking the statement. I'd be like, why does this thing never go up? This is weird. I mean, the stock market I knew was up and down, but I was like, I still should be seeing some returns.
Hilton Smith decided to make a research project out of the subject. He began by looking at the investment options inside his 401k plan. As he dug deeper, he discovered one fund invested in mortgage-backed securities, the kind of security that caused the collapse of the housing market. But that's not what worried him.
I was digging into all the different aspects of it, and I kept coming back to fees. So here's the first mention of fees, this X ratio right here. Why would you think that X ratio means fees?
Hilton Smith found over a dozen different kinds of fees, including asset management fees, trading fees, marketing fees, record-keeping fees, and administrative fees.
So over your career, the lifetime of your career, those fees, they might seem like a tiny, tiny percentage, but it really adds up, which is why, as the Daily Poster reports, over the lifetime of your career, as you're investing this money, you're losing like up to 40% of what you're investing as a result of these Wall Street fees. That's why you have Wall Street salivating over the thought of being able to take advantage of your 401k investing. They're not excited about that to help you, they're excited about that to help themselves. Which again is why it's so shocking that the Supreme Court voted this way, unanimously, 8-0. It's really good news, it really, really is, especially when you put this all in context. And let me do that for you right now. During the 2020 to 2021 term, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the positions advocated by the US Chamber of Commerce, the powerful big business lobby group, 83% of the time. So make no mistake, rulings like this are super rare. But when they happen, we should be happy about it, especially when it comes to a really important issue like retirement. Now, if I had my way, pensions would be far more widespread than they are. The switch over to 401ks has been a complete and utter disaster for retirees. There's no mistake about that. This is an important win, but it doesn't go far enough in reforming a system that really still does put all of the onus and all of the responsibility and all of the risk on you as the worker.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, I really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.